Okay, so where are we? Let me move these comments over here. I am going to go ahead and get started with Friday Night Live. Welcome, everyone. As you're coming in, tonight we're going to talk about the FERS annuity supplement, and this actually was recommended to me by Corey Brockman. Thank you, Corey, for that recommendation. It's something that's really important, and it is something that a lot of times our federal employees have questions about. So last week we did do a session that was for everybody, just talking about those reward credit cards. If you didn't see that, you can go back into the videos and you can watch through that, but that's for anybody. Tonight is actually for federal employees, and not all of our federal employees either. This special annuity supplement is only for people that are under FERS. So I know we've talked about that before, but if you're not familiar with that, CSRS, the Civil Service Retirement System, which is the one that we call the old system, in place in the federal government from 1920 up to 1983. Still some employees working under that system. We're not going to get into all of that tonight, but in 1983, this law is passed, creating a new retirement system called FERS, or the Federal Employees Retirement System, and it is part of that retirement system that we have this thing called the FERS annuity supplement. So I wanted to start by just explaining that people under FERS, and predominantly the federal government is under FERS now. We've got some people under CSRS, like I said, but that pool is getting smaller and smaller and smaller as we go through time. So under FERS, a lot of times we refer to it as a three-tier system because employees are eligible for payment from three different places. So if you look at the slide that I have up here on the screen, you can see those three different places. The first is FERS itself. That money is kept by the Office of Personnel Management in something that is called the Civil Service Retirement and Disability Fund, but that's FERS, that's CSRS, that's the pension plan for our federal employees. And those people that are under CSRS offset or FERS are not only paying into the pension plan, but also paying into Social Security. So that's the second box. The third box is our thrift savings plan, TSP, which functions very similarly to the way a 401k or an IRA functions for private sector employers. So as a federal employee under FERS, I'm eligible for payment from these three different boxes at three different times. So they're all separate. My pension comes from the Office of Personnel Management. Most of us have to be 55 or older to get that. There are exceptions for our special provision employees, or if the federal agency is offering an early out, if the person qualifies for something called a discontinued service retirement. Again, that's an eligibility thing, and I don't want to get too deep into that tonight. But normally, we've got to be 55 or older. Now, whether it is 55 or older will depend on the year that we're born, because FERS does require the employee to be older and older and older, just like Social Security does. Okay, but 55 plus for our retirement. We don't qualify for Social Security's retirement program. Survivor benefits are different. I'm not going to get into that tonight. Disability can be different again. But we don't qualify for retirement from Social Security until we are 62 or older. And our full retirement age, something between 66 and 67 in so many months, depends on the year that we were born. So there's a disconnect between those two things already. If I can get my retirement at 55 or older, but I don't qualify for my Social Security until I'm at least 62, then there's a disconnect between my boxes. You see what I'm saying? And for TSP, we can do whatever we want with that. But one of the things that we could do is elect monthly payments. And so that's where that third box of income is coming in. And for that TSP, as long as I'm 55 or older when I retire, or 50 or older if I'm a law enforcement officer or firefighter, then I can access my TSP. And again, I don't want to get deep into that one tonight. But I want to talk about this disconnect between retirement and Social Security. When FERS was passed into law, the pension in box number 1 was cut pretty significantly. The FERS pension is about, and again, there's a lot of stuff that goes into this, about half of what the CSRS pension is. But when that happened, Congress said it's okay because the CSRS people are just getting that pension, whereas the FERS people are getting that pension and Social Security and TSP. Add your boxes together, be pretty close to what the CSRS people are getting. When we have a disconnect, that makes a really big deal, because if they tell me to add my boxes together and I can get this at 55 and I can get that at 55, but I can't get this until I'm 62, you see we have a problem. So that problem is fixed with the creation of a bridge between box 1 and 2. And I like to explain it as a bridge by talking about an actual bridge, right? By having people understand that a bridge's purpose is to get you from this land mass over to that land mass. So if I am going from, you know, the mainland to this island and there's a bridge to get me over there, then I can't just pop from the mainland to the island. I take the bridge and I go over there, right? That's what a bridge does. So the bridge that we call the FERS annuity supplement is a financial bridge. It's money that you would be able to get from the time you're eligible for box number 1, the mainland, until the time that you're on that island Social Security. It bridges the gap between those things. So the only people who get it are the people who retire from the federal government under FERS and under the age of 62. Because once we are 62, we're on the island. Whether we draw Social Security or not doesn't matter. We could, and because we could, we don't need a bridge to get over there. We're already over there. So I've got to be under 62, but there's more to it. I also have to retire, we'll say, the right way. Right? There's a lot of ways that federal employees can retire. In order for me to get the supplement, got to be under FERS, got to leave my job under 62, retire under 62, and I have to retire under a voluntary retirement. Now that's the name of it, and that means that I am my minimum retirement age, 55 to 57, depending on the year that I was born, and I have 30 years of creditable service, or I retired with a voluntary retirement at 60 or older with 20 years or more of creditable service. Now, voluntary retirement is also 62 with 5 years or more, but if I'm already 62, I'm on the island, no bridge. So I've got to be my MRA with 30 or 60 with 20. Or if my federal agency is offering early retirement and I accept that offer, or if I qualify for a discontinued service retirement, which means that I'm unable to do the job that I was hired, or no, that's disability. Discontinued service means that I have lost my job through no fault of my own. So an example would be that I'm doing this, we have a major reorganization, we're not doing this anymore, I'm out of work. If I have a DSR, discontinued service, or my agency offers an early out, I can leave at 50 or older with 20 years or more, or at any age with 25 years. I can get the supplement, but not until I have my MRA birthday. So my personal MRA is 56. If my agency offered me an early out and I left at 50, from 50 to 56, I get my pension, my retirement, could draw my TSP, that's a whole nother issue, but I don't get the supplement right away. 50 to 56, I collect my pension, I have my 56th birthday, now I do become eligible for the supplement. There's not an application that I have to file for that, it's just automatically going to start, but not until I have that birthday. Air Reserve technicians who are involuntarily separated from the military will also lose the civilian component of their job in most instances. Exceptions apply. If I am involuntarily separated from the military and therefore I lose my civilian job through no fault of my own, I'm eligible for the FERS annuity supplement. Senior executive service members qualify for the supplement just like other employees do, but they can qualify sooner if they fail to recert as a senior executive. So I do show this slide in every one of my retirement classes, and what I tell people is pay attention to the bottom of this one too. Who gets it is important, but who doesn't get it is important as well. So if you do retire from the federal government on a disability, you will not get the supplement. If you do something that is called MRA plus 10, so that stands for minimum retirement age, you have to have at least 10 years of creditable service, you've got less than 30. Because at MRA with 30, you get a regular voluntary retirement. So you leave at MRA with at least 10, less than 30, you do not get the supplement. And it doesn't matter whether you collect your pension right away with a potential penalty attached to it, or you postpone receipt of your benefits so that you don't have a penalty. MRA plus 10 does not come with the supplement, ever. If you do a deferred retirement, so this means that you put in at least 5 years with the federal government, you resigned. You're eligible for a pension at some point in the future, and when you can get it will depend on how much time you had in there before the resignation, but you don't ever qualify for the bridge. You do not qualify for the FERS annuity supplement. And if you're 62 or older when you retire, you don't qualify for the FERS annuity supplement. Now, if you do retire and you're under 62, those options that pay it, you're eligible for this. But what Corey specifically asked me if I would talk about is how do we calculate it? How do we figure out what that FERS annuity supplement is going to be? And so the Office of Personnel Management has a really simple 4-line worksheet that we can just fill out to get an estimate for our FERS annuity supplement. To do it though, to do that worksheet, we've got to look at a copy of our Social Security statement. So I drew an arrow here. That thing, they used to mail it to us every year. They don't anymore. They will now mail it every 5 years. And you've got to be having a birthday that ends in a 5 or a 0, or you can look at it by going online to the Social Security website. So this is ssa.gov. If you scroll to the bottom of the first screen that comes up and click where it says My Social Security, you can log in there and create a username, a password, look at your Social Security statement. If you're looking at your Social Security statement, page 2, right at the top, it's going to say, if you start drawing Social Security 66 to 67, here's a number, 70, here's a number, 62, here's a number. So to calculate the annuity supplement, what I want to do is look at what they estimate my age 62 Social Security to be. And I'll just fill that out on here's the worksheet. You can see it, right? Line number 1, estimated age 62 Social Security. And I've got an example right here up on the screen for you. Then line 2 is asking me to write down the full calendar years that I have under FERS. So I'm not going to include any of my sick leave. If I transferred into FERS, but I've got some CSRS time, I'm not going to include any of that time either. If I made a military deposit, which is a really good thing to do, it counts for retirement, but it's not going to give me extra credit here for the FERS annuity supplement. This is truly time under FERS, and for the worksheet, we're using calendar years. So I started counting with my first January, and I stopped with my last December. Not only does that number go on line 2 of the worksheet, but it also goes on line 3 of the worksheet. On line 3, I take those years and I divide by 40 every time. When I divide those years under FERS by the number 40, I get a decimal on line 3. I also write that decimal on line 4. And I'm going to go to the top of the worksheet. I'm going to grab my age 62 Social Security amount. I'm going to bring it down to line number 4, and I'm going to multiply it by that decimal that I just calculated. The answer is going to be the amount of my monthly FERS supplement. This is in addition to my retirement. So again, I'm not going to go through it with you. You know, in the Facebook Live, I try to keep these things to 20 minutes, and I'm already at 16. So I don't need to go through that, but you can certainly see it on your screen, right? Estimated age 62 Social Security, calendar years under FERS, those years divided by 40, multiplied by my estimated age 62 Social Security. So that's how we calculate the supplement, Corey. If I retire under an option that pays it, and remember, we went through the list of which option pays it, I'm eligible to receive the supplement in addition to my pension until I have my 62nd birthday, at the most. That's the longest I can get it. Because I could lose it sooner than that if I make too much money. The FERS annuity supplement is earnings tested. The amount that I am allowed to earn from another job and be able to keep my supplement changes every year. So you can see the number up here, the $18,960 is the number for 2021. I can get my pension, get my supplement, get my TSP, get all of this stuff, and also get a job and make $18,960 without any negative impact. But if I make more than that in my job, then for every $2 above this limit, my supplement will be increased by $1 next year. So it's always going to be happening a year after the fact. We've got to wait until I get the income from this year. I file my taxes, and then I let OPM know, okay, I made this much money. That was too much. So it's going to be that second year in that I would actually see the supplement decrease. And at the end of that year, if I didn't bust the limit, okay, then that third year, my supplement could come back. And it can come and go like that. Please be aware, this is a really big deal that comes up in every single class. When we talk about the earnings limit here, we are talking about wages from a job or from a self-employment. You running your own business, you got a profit at the end of that year that came back to you in the form of wages. We're not talking about any retirement income. So if you're drawing already a military retirement, civilian retirement, cashing in your TSP, drawing from your IRAs, you have interest, you have dividends, none of that counts against this $18,960 annual limit. And if you are a special provision employee, again, law enforcement, firefighter, air traffic controller, customs and border protection officers who are now covered under that LEO provision, law enforcement, you don't have an earnings limit until you hit your MRA, your minimum retirement age. Other federal employees are going to have that limit in place right away. If you don't know what your minimum retirement age is, you can see the chart here. Column 1, find the year that you were born. Column 2, your minimum retirement age. If I'm a firefighter and I retire at 50 with my required 20 years, and my MRA is 56, then from 50 to 56, I get my pension, I get my supplement. I could be working and earning as much as I want to as well. There's no limit at all for me until I have that 56th birthday, and now I hit my MRA. Okay, guys, so that's me right at my 20 minutes. Let me know if you have any questions, please. I love the interaction with you. I would love to hear any questions that you have now or even later. If you want to drop me a comment, you want to send me a personal message, I'm happy to answer. And if you, like Corey, have some suggestions for things that you would like for me to talk about on the Friday Night Live, hit me up. I would love to hear about it. I would love to hear about it. I will be back here next Friday for Friday Night Live, 6 o'clock Eastern. Take care of yourself, guys. I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for stopping by.